So why don't you just kind of walk me around and show me what area is what, you know, the intention behind some of the stuff, why you designed it the way you designed it.
Okay, yeah. So this is my home. It's a very small home, as you can see, which by choice I wanted to live simple. We're off the grid here on solar panels. It's a pentagon shape, open floor plan. I got my couch and kitchen, everything's kind of built into the wall. The loft sleeping quarters upstairs, and all the trees, all the materials from here. Milled all the trees in the floor. It was something I wanted to do by myself, my own hands, and it's been a childhood dream. So at my age of 33, I decided to do that, and spent 5 years building this little 275 square foot house.
Yeah, and you did it all with your own hands. This is all you.
It's all, yeah, handcrafted, hand mixed cement, a lot of hard work. Had friends come up here and there to put a hand in on different parts of it. And the season up here is really unique to work with because half the time it's freezing. So mixing cement in the snow, all that kind of stuff is like challenging. So I had to get a snowcat as my work truck.
Yeah.
And so I did a lot of stuff in the winter, and been living here for 5 years since it's been finished. And as you can see earlier, there's a little chairlift now. That was another project that I just wanted to keep progressing with what I can do in the backyard here.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's walk over here. I know right now this is kind of your wood pile to keep everything warm, but Sierra was telling us that during the warmer months, this is actually a shower.
Yeah, so this is right now firewood storage. There's a bench that turns into a shower, and as well as a seat. The pipe here is actually really simple for the hot water that runs on the fireplace. Mm-hmm. And there's a hot tub out here that's buried right now. So if I'm around long enough and I got enough wood, that's actually like my winter shower outdoors. This is more of an indoor shower for the summertime. And yeah, I like doing multi-use,
Yeah,
things.
I was going to say, everything seems like it has multiple purposes. Like even the stove here is actually an oven too.
Yeah, oven, hot water, those coils that heats your hot water. Cooking top for cooking, which I do, for almost pretty much every meal. And then of course heat to heat the place.
Yeah. Okay, and then this is your kitchen. So kind of, what's unique about, this obviously isn't a normal kitchen. Even the granite is unfinished on the edges.
Yeah, I did a lot of different mixtures here with the unfinished granite, the wood kind of like sinking into it here. Mm-hmm. And a stainless steel sink, which was my first stainless steel welding job. This is a special soapstone for heat, which is really efficient. And the water is piped in again to the hot water. And I had a refrigerator here once upon a time, but it was too noisy, so I took it out.
So how do you keep food
Well,
fresh
for half the year it's snow.
Mm-hmm.
Under the deck is a storage kind of like wine cellar style. So the temperature there I can regulate it. I can stay at like 30, 35 degrees. Mm-hmm. And freezing, I don't use a lot of stuff I don't need ice cream up here, but
that's the only thing. You can't have ice cream.
Yeah.
Okay, and then this is where you sleep, upstairs.
This is, the loft sleeps too. Comfortable. We wake up, actually the sunrise comes right through the top window here, which is really nice to wake you up. Mm-hmm. And on sunny days, the rocks start to heat up from the sun. And by evening, the sun comes through this window and heats these rocks, granite holds a great amount of heat, which can last all night when on a sunny day.
Now, did you do that on purpose? Did you put the rocks in these places because you knew that the sun was going to come in from different places?
Yeah, I did plan it out to work with the sun, because the first year I was here, I lived in a teepee, and that really was rough.
Yeah.
But it gave me a real understanding of how to work with the weather, because the weather is very powerful. As you can, it's moved mountains, it's created our world, and so those elements to use for the sun of heating, these huge glass walls are south-facing, mm-hmm. and they're at a degree where in the summer the sun is higher, so it doesn't come in to the cabin as strong, so because you don't want that mm-hmm. much heat in the summer, and it comes in more in the winter. So working with that kind of stuff really gets you more, or me, in sync with how the world spins and how time works, mm-hmm. and how you work with it. It's easy just to go to bed with the sun and not have to generate all this electricity to run lights and stay up for hours afterwards. So stuff like that really makes you like work differently with living a simple, and I personally think it's pretty glorious life.
Yeah. And then I noticed too, when you did all the rock work in here, you left room for like lots of little shelves and little storage areas. Why did you do that?
There's a lot of craftsmanship I like working with as things get developed. This is my first project with rocks, and I realized rocks really help shape what's going on. So I started to build shelves, the shower, different little like cubby holes, and this rock actually here that the fireplace is on is the whole hillside that we're on.
Oh, wow.
So I got to work off of that, and right where we're at is a little bit of it, but we're actually there's a little basement underneath us. So just working with rocks, some of them had to crack
Yeah.
to move for how I wanted to
How
have.
did you crack the rocks?
I-
Explosives or?
No, that's one way the highways do it, but
Yeah.
I learned the old-fashioned way, which is wedge and feathers. It's two pieces of metal, a certain shape. You drill a hole and a line you're in a crack, and you just slowly tap it.
Wow.
Tap it for a couple hours, and it
Wow.
will finally go.
And then, is this the foundation we're standing on right now, this picture?
Yeah. So this is the rock that the fireplace is sitting
Okay.
on, and that's where I'm standing is where the front door is. So
Okay. And
I-
that's that kind of basement underneath us.
yeah, so the other corner of the house is on here, and then the whole deck is like kind of suspended way off the
Okay.
house.
Cool. Anything else that's like really notable that's, I noticed that there's a lot of crystals around here. Why did you choose to incorporate crystals?
You know, when I started building this house, some people realized knew it was a long dream from mine, and they heard I was going to build out of rocks, and so people started shipping me rocks as to just add into the
Yeah.
building process. So I have, like this table is marble, and then it has petrified wood, petrified bone, some quartz in the walls there, and it's kind of been my new process of learning the beauty of working with rocks. I'm fascinated by that element to work
Yeah.
with. It's a little hard, but it survives. It's maintenance free.
Yeah. So is it, I know some people like to have crystals in their home because it gives a good energy and people believe in like that energy it puts out, or is it just because you wanted to have your friends and family kind of included in the project?
A mix of both. Granite is a special mineral to me. I grew up a little bit in the mix of biodynamic gardening, which they talk a lot about granite absorbing the sun quite a bit to help things grow. And so I have this idea of this is helping me grow and shaping it into the pentagon golden ratio based off me. It's just another ingredients to kind of like just help myself grow individually.
So tell me a little bit more about that golden ratio. I know you did the pentagon shape for a reason.
Yeah, I did it for a couple of reasons. One, I was fascinated by that instinct of nature because everything is based on it. And over time, we've lost that. We've come up with an inch and a foot and a meter. And going into this project, I kind of like tried to erase everything I've learned so I could approach it more on the instinct level. And I read a little bit about the golden ratio, but I actually stopped because I realized it started structuring ideas that were our real ideas, but I wanted this to be more about my own life. And so I dove into it more with an instinct after I got an idea like, I love being in this position. And there's so much of my life that
Like a
has to
power
do with that.
stance.
Yeah, just the way it feels. And so that idea, like, oh, that's where my window should be.
Yeah.
Because that's what it feels like when you look through a window, you reach out. And the door, that's where you're like, this is where I stand. So that's where the door, more ground solid feeling should be. And so that's how kind of these different shapes, and when you walk in, it might not know exactly what it feels. A lot of people come here like, wow, it's really comfortable. It doesn't feel small. It feels very welcoming. And I believe that's part of those elements working with the golden ratio that offers that
Yeah.
feeling.
And I would say that these windows probably help with that feeling too, because it is a small space, but there's so much light, and you look out and it almost feels like it extends all the way out, Is that why you did the huge windows? Or?
Yeah, the big of just view, like openness is important to me, especially when you live in a small place, to remember what's out there in the world, not get huddled down and be this little hermit in the woods. That's not what I'm here to do. And so that's, yeah, why this is very important, why I spent a lot of time and effort doing this part of the building.
So basically you built this whole project basically off of like your feeling and your instinct and just kind of went with your gut.
It's a gut feeling and a reflection of my passion in life. And it's kind of everything I've worked towards in life. I think this is a clear example of my reward of efforts, I guess, in some form of like wanting to shine that, show the world it.
How did you learn how to do all of the craftsmanship with this? I mean, this takes a lot of skill.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I get that a lot, and the reason I hesitate to like just be clear of answering it, because I realize part of my entering with working with this or any element, I'm willing to take a bigger risk than what I've realized most people are comfortable with, and that's the part that I learned how to work with the element. I don't always succeed, and I want to say that because I want to share it, because it's pretty important to me of learning how to fail and keep going and learning something from that process. So that's been my way of learning how to get through life, is just dive in and try to be aware of, keep yourself safe. And I've worked with woodworking a lot, so I'm lucky to be able to do that for milling wood and stuff, but I'm not an expert at building. That's my perspective of myself. I'm just trying to like enter an uncomfortable space and being comfortable with it, where that crossing the threshold, you could call it, of like into the like instinct of just trusting what's going to happen will be something that you want, or learning from it that you can help guide it as it's happening.
So a lot of trial and error and just kind of trusting the process then.
Yeah, trial and error and learning how to do the thing better next time.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so you've milled your own wood, you've broken your own rocks, and then you built the whole chairlift yourself, right, down there? Or?
Yeah, that was the chairlift was something that pushed me a lot with my building comfort, and so that was something really exciting. Again, I didn't know if it was going to work or not, but I was willing to just go for it. And I had a lot of friends come up, and we were winching stuff from trees and like getting wild with the boulders up there and tractors, because it's very rocking. When you build a ski lift, you normally have helicopters dropping stuff in certain places, and to draw a straight line in a wild terrain was a beautiful challenge for me. So that was something like I'm here today to share the finished result.
So is this the first time you're sharing with all your friends and family that ski lift? And
it is the first time I've gotten to share
how
this.
Exciting.
Yeah.
And you welded the ski lift too, right? I mean,
Yeah.
welded the metal together, and
I like welding. I didn't go to college or anything for it, but I by practice learned. You watch the element and learn how to do it better. And here I'm building a chairlift, and loving it.
I think some people would probably call you like the ultimate do-it-yourselfer craftsman. I mean, you just seem very crafty and willing to just kind of be creative. Would you agree with that, or?
I hear it pretty often, so yeah, I guess I agree that I like being crafty.
Yeah. Okay. So and then why did you choose kind of the middle of the Sierra, I guess you could call it, to build your home?
I grew up in California. I love the weather of California, and kind of back to the granites of the Sierras is something I've always been drawn to, and this is where I landed back after traveling for 20 years around the world. This feels like home.
Absolutely. And a big part, I'm sure, of the reason you love it up here is the snow, because you love to snowboard. So tell me a little bit about your history with snowboarding.
The snow was something living in the snow is something new in my dreams. I've done it as a career for 25 something years, and I always thought I'd be like more of a farmer woodworker as a homestead. But mixing those two together, I realized like I'm so passionate about snowboarding. I want to live in it and not have to go somewhere to experience it. So just walk out the front door and go snowboarding. So I picked a spot 3 miles off a paved road, which is a big challenge. And groceries, just everything is way more time put into it. So that part's been fun. It's not an easy life, but my reward for me, my experience of hardship I feel like I get to accelerate with a feeling, and it's like running a marathon. It's like I do that with certain things, just like washing my hands. It's like I put so much in to getting water in a pipe up here at this elevation without freezing. Like you're that much closer to what is happening by the hardship of putting yourself into it. So that's kind of why I picked this, is to be forced to work with those experiences in a hardship way.
Yeah, and everything is probably more meaningful in your home because, like you said, you put a lot of effort into figuring out the logistics. I mean, that's not an easy task. I mean, how did you work that out in your head about how you were going to get running water and power, and how did you figure all that out?
It's listening to the environment. It's like really like trying to understand how it works best, and seeing how you can work that into the human life, because we need certain things in a room, hot water and like warmth and dry. So there's a lot of different things a human is asking to put into one space. And it's not been easy again doing all this. There's always room to grow. I could definitely get more convenient, but this right here is my dream of way of living, and yeah.
So you said getting groceries is a little bit difficult. Tell me some of the other kind of unconventional challenges you have to deal with living here that I'm sure you love dealing with, but some things that most people don't really have to deal with in their house.
The house is an okay, like not a lot of things break. That the breaking things up here is more of a challenge, the biggest challenge that I face. Like the snowcat you came up today, like so many times I'll be in the middle of a storm and it breaks halfway down, and it's waist deep snow, and I have all this stuff I need to get up here, and the highway shut down. There's so many things that you're just like, you're on your own, and you're now going to spend the next 10 hours dealing with a blown bearing on a tire, and so you got to snowshoe that stuff back, which requires power tools, all this other thing. You just can't drive your car to the gas station and like get it fixed. So those things you try to plan a little bit, but you can't plan for the weather always. So those are the things that really like rock your world up here.
Yeah. And Sierra was mentioning, you store some stuff downstairs storage-wise because there's not a ton of storage up here. So have you been able to kind of work out those challenges as you live up here? Are you still kind of adapting and figuring out?
I'm still adapting. Approaching being up here is a little bit like camping. Like you try to buy tools that are, if you were going to go camping, just something you can carry on your back, small scale, very efficient, and all you need. Downsizing.
Yeah. Can you think of anything?
Yeah, you're getting it all. I'm just.
Yeah. Anything else that we kind of missed? I mean, another thing is a lot of people don't understand why someone would want to live off the grid and kind of in the middle of nowhere. And you said you don't really want to be a hermit. You don't want people to think you're up here because you want to get away from society. But why did you choose to live so far away from other homes and, streets and everything?
It's kind of a choice of just trying something out in life. And I could go do something different. That's very easy. I consider easy. And I've tried it. I've lived in a huge house, had everything to offer, but it didn't feel very rewarding to me. And at 33, I was like, what am I going to do with the rest of my life? I want to do something different, challenging, and try to shift how we live and see if it brings something more closer to being human. And so that's, again, why I'm kind of sharing this now. It's like I've taken care of myself of understanding where I'm at with it, and I want to share that because I believe people can experience something more by downsizing and being more free with their lifestyle.
And we kind of talked about a lot of people have come and pitched in their work here and there, a couple hours here, a couple hours there to help you build this. And it seems like you have a great foundation of people who are really supportive and obviously love you and want to come up here and help you out. How does that feel to know that your hands weren't the only ones on this property? Other people contributed as well.
Yeah, it's been amazing, the amount of people that have helped with this. And I've learned that in a unique way because I've started this with hiring friends to come and help. I mean, not close friends, but people I knew. And something wasn't exactly going all the way. And so I started actually having parties and people come up and gather rocks and campouts. And I realized people want to do something, they're really excited to do something different. And that's how all my projects have continued, like just having people really passionate, because that's the energy that gets put into my surroundings, which I'm so thankful for.
Mm-hmm. And what's next? Do you have a new, I mean, I know you just finished your ski lift and this is kind of the unveiling party for it, but do you have another project on the horizon or?
No, I'm here to share now. I'm like, feel content within myself, and I'm just kind of trying to reach out to the world in a new way than I have before, and hopefully bring something inspiring for others to just check in, see if they're there with their dream, because I think dreams are pretty important, especially the ones from a childhood. You know, they're very simple and clear.
So was this your childhood dream then, or?
Yeah, since I was about 10, 11.
What did you think about when you were 10 or 11? Like, what was your goal as a 10-year-old? What did you want to do?
I wanted to build my own house with my own hands. Just like, I want to be the one doing that for myself.
And how does it feel now that you've done that?
Amazing. I feel like a billionaire up here just because I have such a connection with value. And that's the most important thing for my life on this journey, is to like connect and have value, because all the other things I've experienced in our career with the snowboarding, and the stock market, bought a big house, real estate, I got lost in it. And some people do amazing with it, you know. I'm not good at it, and so this is my way, you know. And the people who've come up and helped them, I think they enjoy it, and again, it's not for everybody, but I love to share, you know, the people that are unsure, to come up and see if this is them.
And I saw you have a tiny homes book sitting on one of your little shelves here, and tiny homes are kind of taking off right now. There's a little bit of a movement of people wanting to build small homes or try out kind of more sustainable living. Do you hope that your situation kind of sets an example for people, or?
I hope my hard work is inspiring for others as well. If it is, awesome. If not, that's okay too. You know, I did this for me, and it's what I actually need to survive in this world. So everything else is brownie points.
All right, one last question. You said you were involved in the stock market, you had a huge house. I mean, you're a professional snowboarder, GoPro sponsored. People would call all of that in itself very successful, but what to you defines success?
My biggest success value feeling is just speaking who I am, or at least finding who that is, and trying to give that a life. And through that, to find that, I think, is through experiences. That's what I've learned the most, is going out and seeing what is real. I've read about things, but I still need to go experience it. And so that process, I realized, like, I'm not even going to like draw out how I'm going to build this thing, because if I draw it all out, it's already built, you know. So the experience of just living with something, and an idea, a dream, that's my biggest value for putting the word to success to.
Perfect. Anything else you want to add about your home or living off the grid or anything like that?
I highly suggest doing it on some level. For long, short term, it is worth the while to trying it out.